Okay, WK2 diesel Jeep Grand Cherokees DPF problems. This is super common. We're seeing probably 2 a week across our stores. So I'm going to talk you through some basic repairs here and the trap that everybody's getting stung with that's costing workshops a fortune, and I'll show you how to avoid spending a heap of money replacing DPFs multiple times. So what I've got here is the DPF. This is an old one out of a WK2. This is a factory Jeep one. If you buy this from Jeep with the sensors fitted, you're probably looking around 9 grand. So you've already spent half the value of your motor vehicle. Get these aftermarket with the sensors. Get the sensors genuine. So if you get the genuine Jeep sensor and the aftermarket DPF fitted, you're probably still looking around the $3,000 mark, but that's about where you need to be at. Don't skimp on the sensors. I'll show you in a minute the 2 sensors that need to be changed. If you do skimp on the sensors, you are more than likely going to end up with your check engine light back on, the same fault codes. Once the fault code's logged, your DPF won't do a burn on its own, and your brand new DPF will start to block up again, and you're back where you started. So this is obviously the old one. Coming out of this hole and this hole on the DPF, the pressure sensors to the DPF pressure sensor, which sits up on top of the transmission. They're 2 metal pipes with 17 mil nuts here. These very rarely give trouble. We never, not never, but have very rarely replaced these. Going in here is a sensor, and I'll show you. I've got a couple here. Okay, so this is a brand new DPF sensor number 1. So when you get fault code for bank 1 sensor 1, this is the one you need to replace. The plug is that one, and that's actually on the passenger side of the transmission. This loom runs over the top of the transmission. You unplug this from the passenger side. This doesn't go into the DPF. This goes into the back of the inlet manifold. If you have to replace this, you've got to remove this from the vehicle anyway. So up above the V-band here, that screws into the back of the manifold like so. What we are seeing, and the trap that we're advising everybody, is actually this one, which is bank 1 sensor 2, which goes into the side of the DPF here, like so. I'm just glad I showed you how to do that. So what we have seen a lot though is you replace the DPF and you replace bank 1 sensor 1, this one with a 90-degree bend in it, and a couple of days to a week later you've got the same fault code bank 1 sensor 1, and you think maybe I've got a faulty sensor, so you do the whole thing again. And then a couple of days later, you're back where you started bank 1 sensor 1. We have seen numerous times on the WK2, bank 1 sensor 1 fault codes logged for a faulty bank 1 sensor 2. So if you're doing a DPF, bite the bullet, do sensor 1 and sensor 2, and you won't ever have to do it again. Well, not ever, but you won't be doing the same job over and over again, pulling your hair out, or if you're the workshop doing this sort of work for free or under warranty, because your scan tool's sending you in the wrong direction. Bank 1 sensor 1, always do bank 1 sensor 2 as well. If you're getting fault codes for sensor 1 and you've already changed it, change number 2, it'll fix your problem. There you go, it's Danny from GDL Automotive.